So is this what actually happened? As Dan Bongino is back in the news again, as a lot of people are questioning his latest Fox News appearance, where he again decided to go on the offensive. All of this is happening while Tucker Carlson really did kind of hit the uncomfortable nail on the head when it comes to this particular situation, as there's a lot of things to talk about here. There's a lot of name calling, there's a lot of drama, as of course Harmeet Dillon just got in it as well with Viva Frey, as there's a big disconnect between the base and the former base that now is a part of the administration. All of this as now we're finally hearing that Kash Patel is kicking out FBI agents linked to anti-Trump lawfare. Now? Why is this happening now? As we have a former naval intelligence specialist coming out and talking about how everything in D.C. is run on compromise. And this could potentially explain why there are such lack of actions, delayed actions, and no actions at all here, as the right is consuming itself with Jerry Springer type of drama. Some of it I think is worth talking about from a perspective, just to make people understand what's really going on here. And if you agree, subscribe, click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time that you spend with us. As of course, I know a lot of these people personally involved in a lot of this stuff, and I think the commentary that I'm going to be providing is going to be important in order to kind of move forward, hopefully in a constructive way. Now, as this drama is going away, Congress just passed the bill to put in a kill switch in every car in America. This is happening in Europe already, and now we passed the law with it here. What? The GOP supported this. Owen Schroyer says, whose idea was it to put a bill in front of Congress that allows the government and corporations to have a kill switch in your car? And who told both sides of Congress to vote for it? Yeah, why are we doing this? As of course, I think that's a little bit more of an important topic than the latest drama. But again, the drama becomes prevalent because it is just being thrown in our face by the individuals who are calling for more of it. And I would have to call a spade here. And we have to acknowledge that Dan Bongino came back from the FBI into the media sphere, guns blazing, with involving himself in drama, declaring war. And it's like, really? It's like, I declare war on black pillars. And people are like, you made us black pilled, though. Like, you turned us into the black pill. You're bad. And I'm like, whoa. Oh, hold on. What's going on here? As Ryan Mate had some interesting analysis here from the latest Dan Bongino, Sean Hannity interview, which didn't even approach or talk about the Jeffrey Epstein saga, which is still on everyone's mind since the government still is not complying with federal law that is supposed to release the files, as everyone is kind of left guessing to what's really going on here. And when you do that, you allow people to think of the worst possible things, especially when you don't give them any accountability and transparency. Here's Ryan Mate himself.
So the question I have for you is, was Bongino randomly fired from Fox News, or was that all part of a play?
Now, he came out with his theory here, and in his theory, there's no proof or evidence of this, and it's important to talk about this, that somehow there's something else going on here other than the official story that we're being told about. He's talking about potential people who still might have some kind of work endeavors, some kind of PSYOP options here at play, some kind of weird connections to Fox News. This is his theory, but again, with the lack of transparency, accountability, and just honest talk, this is why a lot of these theories will proliferate and will continue to grow and expand from here.
Was Bongino part of our intelligence agency this entire time and been placed in a position to infiltrate the conservative movement, so that way when come election season, if Trump ever won, he could get installed in the FBI and play his part and help him cover up the Epstein files and everything else? Check this video out. Let me know what you think.
Now, was that the plan here? It's kind of a poor plan, to be quite honest with you. If we're going to take it on face value, right? It's theoretical. We have no proof, but look. I mean, Dan Bongino's getting shredded in the comments and the responses. You look at his first kind of interview, which didn't even approach the Epstein stuff. This looks like it's his second interview. Everyone's like, why haven't you told us about the Epstein stuff? Why haven't you told us what's really going on here? This is not something that worked. If it was a plan, right? If this was a Fox News conspiracy, and Fox News does get involved in politics. Fox News came to Tucker Carlson and said, you're going to run against Donald Trump. We got you. We'll back you. You'll be the populist. You'll be our guy. Tucker Carlson said, no, I'm not going to do that. So Fox News does try to set up people for political office and does try to set up kingmakers, right? And some people would say that they're the ultimate kingmaker since they control a vast majority of the right-wing media space that doesn't like to talk about Tucker Carlson anymore, as they had an ousting after Tucker Carlson wouldn't play ball with them when it came to usurping Donald Trump and screwing him over.
So if you guys aren't following Isaiah's army over on X, he just put out a tweet. He said that Dan Bongino just went on the Sean Hannity show, and Epstein wasn't mentioned one time. So I'm starting to think to myself, and I said, you know what's weird about the Trump administration?
And then he says that there could be some kind of conspiracy with Fox News. We're going to be playing clips from this Fox News interview, because if I'm interviewing Dan Bongino, that's the first question that is on everyone's mind that everyone wants to ask. We're going to play that clip as well as Bongino talking about predators, and we'll get into it. Before we do, just really quickly, check out wearechange.shop. It's our shop. It's our store. It's literally in my guest room right now as one of the supplements we have there that I think has been absolutely incredible for me is the vitamin D. It is with K2. It is with olive oil. You want to make sure you get it with more fat, healthy fat, early in the morning. My sleep score went up dramatically. Lots of people sick around me. I'm not sick. Why? I think that's because of my vitamin D. I also have some fat-soluble vitamin C that actually gets into your body. Lots of stuff you just kind of pee out. Vitamin D, vitamin C, literally why I think I am as healthy as I am right now. As Analyze and Optimize on Twitter says, vitamin D is a powerful antifungal against Candida. Lots of people have Candida. Vitamin D is absolutely vital for a fully mature and functioning immune system. It also produces proteins that are directly antifungal. It reduces all forms of Candida growth, virulence, and biofilm formation. Low levels are linked to worsened infections. Yep. Lots of people with low vitamin D levels, especially during the coof years, were absolutely obliterated. We're absolutely dealing with a severe illness. People with higher vitamin D levels weren't. Vitamin D, super important for your brain, for your gut, for your teeth. Overall, I am absolutely bullish on this stuff. I love this stuff. Make sure your vitamin D levels are good. Lots of doctors are like, oh yeah, they're absolutely at their lowest possible acceptable form. You're doing great. And I'm like, what are you doing? Now, of course, you don't want to make sure that they're too high. You want to make sure they're at a good level. Once every 6 months or a year, get a blood test, figure out, and then kind of do the right thing for you on a one-on-one individual basis. Wearechange.shop. Can't recommend it enough. Really, really awesome stuff. We got a lot of these supplements available that really do make the biggest difference. Unlike Dan Bongino at the FBI. Now, according to a lot of people, it didn't make any difference at all. As Dan Bongino came out, and he came out swinging. And again, it's like, okay, we get it. You're angry, but you're angry at people that, like, you disappointed, and you're angry at them being disappointed at you after you disappointed them. And that's the point that I think a lot of people miss here. It's like, we all had a lot of faith in Dan. We all had a lot of hope. We all were very excited, saying, yeah, Dan's going to go there. He knows, he's talking about how Bill Clinton went on the back of the plane with Epstein with small children there. His friend was there. I'm like, he has the sources, he has the connections. We could actually get some legitimate justice. And now we're in a situation where this administration, this DOJ, has literally the Clintons on a silver platter. Their contempt of Congress charges are there, and they're choosing to, of course, allow them to get away with crimes that the average Republican, if they would have committed, would have ended up in jail because of. And people are saying, that's not fair. That's not justice at all. Trump was talking about locking her up. We're not getting any of that. We're literally getting nothing. And now we're being told it's our problem for being disappointed about not getting what we were told we were going to get. If you think about it from that way, it's quite incredulous to see Dan Bongino say things like this.
Do you dipwads even read your own headlines?
Dude, dipwads. Like name calling. Like, grow up. Now, again, I name call them sometimes too. But, like, you dipwads. Who are you calling dipwads? Like, bro. Come on, really?
Are you that stupid? These are these media morons. People who've never spent a day wearing a badge, never kicked in a door, never arrested some child predator.
Is he talking about himself? Never arrested?
Or some bank robber or some gang member. These morons don't know anything about the safety status of the country.
Why don't you enlighten us then? Why don't you tell us exactly what happened? As of course you're talking about going after predators. As
Do you dipwad?
A lot of people are bringing up the fact that, hey, actually, there are still higher ranking predators out there that are still hurting children out there because of you. You were the deputy director of the FBI. You lied to us. You told us, no, they're gonna release the video and you're gonna know and you're gonna believe the official story. No, the official story. He actually took himself out. No. Big things are at play here. Trust the plan. Big thing. Just because you don't see them doesn't mean that they're not happening. And then it's like, okay, bye. Wait, why? Why did you gaslight us? Why did you lie to us? Right? And people responding to this are highlighting how they're blocked from being comments. And my goodness. And then the memes from it are pretty severe here. Now, again, people are pointing out the obvious. You're saying and you're kind of saying I stop predators. It's like, okay, but the high-ranking, really evil predators that are still out there, still hurting small children, are out there. And you were complicit in lying to us about it and allowing it to continue to happen. Eric Daughtry, wow, down Bongino goes off. Yeah, but it's more of a self-destructive going off that a lot of people aren't buying. And I know you're trying to do this like rah, rah, ah, pounding of this chest type of, but you kind of look weak here. And individuals like Tucker Carlson call it out. As Tucker Carlson talks about how Bongino was completely shafted in the Epstein mess. And listen, no one's going to believe that you're telling the truth unless you actually tell the truth, as most people believe that you covered up for the Epstein stuff, which you did. All right. Now, is that Pam Bondi's fault? Are you going to tell us that? Okay, let's get some receipts and let's have that conversation. But that conversation hasn't been had, right? At all.
Well, as we're recording this, Dan Bongino is threatening to resign if Pam Bondi does not resign as AG. What does that tell us?
So this was a long time ago, a couple months ago that this was released, and his commentary is still true.
In your opinion?
Well, it tells us that Dan Bongino got shafted, completely shafted. And I'm saying this as a friend of his and someone who respects and likes him, but also just as an observer, an informed observer of it. So Pam Bondi, who's, by the way, I don't hate Pam Bondi. She's a totally nice person. If she was here, you would enjoy, I don't know if you know her, but she's a very nice person. I'm not against Pam Bondi in the slightest. But the fact is, she got on television on Fox News and started saying stuff like, I've got the client list on my desk. And actually, no, you don't. And I've got thousands of videos of Epstein having sex with kids. Well, actually, no, you don't. Most of the material was commercial porn taken off his computer. Like, that's just not true. Why did she say that? Probably because she's insecure and she's trying to please the audience, I would expect.
Do you think Dan is upset because
That's one explanation, and that's a very charitable explanation.
his integrity is being questioned now over her mistakes?
Oh, my gosh. So you're Dan, and you're a media figure, and you've got one of the biggest podcasts in the country, and you're making tons of money, and you're having a great time, which he was. You just built this brand new studio in Florida. You work with your wife, who you really like, which she does. And you get the call saying you'd be deputy FBI director. And you're like, I love Donald Trump. I love this country. I will, cut my pay by, into 1/10 of what it was. And I will leave my house and move to D.C., which is a kind of prison sentence itself. And I will do this because I love the president. I love the country. And you're there a few months. And all of a sudden, everybody thinks you're covering up Epstein's crimes. And it kind of wrecks Dan's career. Like, he can't go back. It's going to be very hard at this point. I mean, things may change, but as of today, pretty hard for Dan to go back to his podcast audience and be like, I'm telling you the truth, when they all think that he's covering up for Epstein.
Yep. And the average person would like keep his head down, or the average person would be like, hey guys, I messed up. I'm sorry. I didn't get the job done. I know you guys had a lot of high hopes for me. I know you guys really wanted me to get a lot done, and it just wasn't doable. But that's not what happened here. The exact opposite of that happened here. It's like, ah, look at me. Man, good. I do good. Ah. And I'm like, bro, what are you patting yourself on the back about? Like, can you not read the room of people being like disappointed? Right?
Who did that? Pam Bondi.
And this is why a lot of people are like, is this a psyop? Or are you still working for the feds to psyop us somehow? Right? And again, no proof or evidence of that, but what else do you think happened here?
Bondi did that. And I don't know that she did it on purpose. I'm assuming not. I don't think she's a mean person. I've never gotten that sense. But for whatever reason, she went out there and said things that were not true, that she could not back up. And then they issued this memo thinking that it would clear everything up.
That was embarrassing.
And I guess they're just so dumb, they didn't realize that if you tell everybody you have the tapes of these crimes and then you issue a memo saying you're not going to prosecute anybody for the crimes, what are you saying? I'm covering up for the perpetrators of these crimes.
And they still are, especially now, what, 34 days, 35 days? No files?
They have no one with an IQ over 80 over there to read the memos? Are you kidding? You know, I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but I do know that it leaves a guy like Dan in a horrible position.
Yeah.
And he loves Trump. And I don't think Trump had any knowledge of any of this at the detail level. And so he doesn't, I mean, what do you do if you're Dan Bongino? I feel for him. What is Trump going to do? I don't know. I do think that I think they know that they have to do something. I think it's absolutely fair to ask, to what extent was Epstein involved in a foreign intelligence operation on our soil? This is our country. This country doesn't belong to any foreign country. Okay, this is our country. I was born here. I pay taxes here. So if some foreign country, I don't care if you claim it's our ally or not, is running an intel operation on my soil, I have a right to know what that was. And don't make me feel like I'm some kind of Nazi for asking.
Exactly. And don't name call me and attack me. And again, a lot of this stuff is like trying to change up the argument and conversations, as Bongino now is trying to say that people are mad at him because he wasn't a political commentator when he was working for the taxpayer. I'm like, no, that's not what we wanted. We wanted accountability and justice and actually some legitimate kind of action. Now, Hardeep Dillon is also fighting with Viva Frey. We have Wendy Patterson saying Bongino and Harmeet self-destructed. What do you notice in both of them? Quote, pure anger and hatred, not because of us, but because of the non-disclosure situation they both put themselves into. Now, they have no choice but to defend the positions that they chose that abandoned all of us who were once their allies. Neither one of them are brave enough to admit that we were right and that the DOJ and the FBI are still just as corrupt as we know it is. Bravery in America, Bravery in America, loving patriots is a hard thing to find today. And that's their assessment on the situation. And again, Viva Frey and Harmeet went at it. Harmeet blocked Viva. Now we're getting this from the National Post. Just a few hours ago, Kash Patel is kicking out FBI agents linked to anti-Trump lawfare. Why now? Now? How long were these like corrupted people? Why were some of them promoted? Are they still in charge here? What's really going on here? Well, according to one former naval intelligence specialist, he's coming out and saying a lot of influencers, like Kash was, like Bongino was, and still now trying to revamp and come back, are, quote, being blackmailed through their web search history to, quote, push government narratives or risk major legal or reputational repercussions. This is what he had to say about his assessment of what's going on here.
So when I'm saying like somebody's an operative or whatever word you want to use, they're not like walking around on their off time, pulling out their secret CIA ID card and badging into the main building. That's not what happens. Even if you go back to Project Mockingbird, they're just getting some talking points in a letter every once in a while. They're just saying, oh, you know what? Don't have this guy on your show, or don't allow this to be spoken about on your show, or if they talk about this, you're going to cut it out. There's simple things like that, some very basic instructions. And the way that somebody like a Gen Z person might get recruited is, let's just use you as an example. Somebody comes up and says, hey, man, I love your podcast, yada, yada. They're in a restaurant, a bar, whatever. And they say, I have a serious question for you, though. Are you a patriot? Would you consider yourself a patriot?
This makes a lot of sense.
Now I've got you locked into identity, right? And then I say, well, I have an offer for you. But before I show you anything, I just want you to say yes or no. Would you be willing to entertain the offer and look at what I have? And it might be uncomfortable. Would you be willing to look at it?
Sure.
Yep. Stage one is I show you all of your browsing history, captures from your webcams on all of your phones and computers of you doing the most compromising shit you could ever possibly imagine. Every bad thing you've ever done recorded in some way. And I'd say, I like your podcast. I think you're doing a great job. And I want to protect you. And I want to keep all this from the public eye. But we also want to give you $20,000 a month. So now you feel like you chose all of this. So you walk away not feeling like I shoved this in your face. I told you it was going to be stressful.
Yep, and that's how they offer it up to you.
And you agreed to it. And you agreed that you're a patriot and all the other agreements. And now if you say yes, the reason that you're doing this on your podcast is for your country, because you're not going to call yourself compromised. We have this thing called cognitive dissonance.
Is that what is happening with Bongino? Or is there a Fox News conspiracy? Or is it just true battle-tied type of assessment of too much ego? What do you think? 1, 2, or 3? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for being a part of this independent media organization. Thank you so much for taking care of your health. Going to wearechange.shop. I want to be here for you guys doing that. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/LukeRadowski76.